Hey guys, welcome back to Modeling Manhood. I'm going to tell you guys about reunions today and just how exciting it is to get together with old family members and just getting together. It's always a good time. Growing up, we always had extras or weekend warriors around the farm. Neighbors like Chewy, uh, girls from church like Amy, or even my brother Phil. That would spend countless hours and days, and sometimes extended periods, even years, at the farm growing up as a family. Now, as an adult myself, my kids have extras that we get to enjoy. We got son 6 and son 7, and just others that get to bless us on weekends or just special occasions and just be part of our family. Maybe you guys don't have a family or someplace where you belong. Maybe you feel like Joseph of the Bible. We're going to be talking about him here in a minute. But family is such a treasure and such a blessing. And I'm sitting here in front of my wrenches and I'm holding a 13 millimeter, which is a pretty common metric size. And if you guys look at all my wrenches up here, you kind of see that we got an empty spot. And that's how families are when we lose somebody, or that we just have to, it's hard to fill their shoes or make up the difference. So if you guys have lost loved ones or missing family members, I pray that they came to know Jesus and are spending eternity in heaven. If they don't know Jesus, then ultimately it's a sad story the way that book gets written. But if you are alive and you have a chance to make Jesus your personal Savior so that you can spend eternity in heaven, I would just encourage you to do that. That's the most important thing you can do on this time on earth. More important than your job, who you're going to marry, what vehicle you're going to drive, how much money you have in the bank account. Your relationship with Jesus is ultimately the most important thing. In the book of Genesis, I said we were going to talk about Joseph. So Joseph was sold by his brothers to the Ishmaelites and ended up being a slave in Egypt. And through a series of circumstances, he was put into a high position at Potiphar's, accused of cheating, thrown into jail, and then forgotten by the baker and the butler until Pharaoh had his own dream. And then he ended up being second in command of Egypt after he interpreted the king's dreams there and basically provided for Egypt and for the rest of the world in that region. His father, Jacob, would have been back in Canaan and they were experiencing the famine. And he had already sent Joseph's brothers to Egypt twice to get grain and provisions. And I just want to pick up here in chapter 45. Then Joseph could no longer contain himself before his attendants, and he cried out, "Have everyone leave my presence." So he's invited all of his brothers who don't know that he is Joseph, who they sold into slavery almost 2 decades earlier. And so he asked everybody to leave. So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. So he tells his brothers this. And he wept loudly so that all the Egyptians heard him and Pharaoh's household heard him. And Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" But his brothers were not able to answer him because they were terrified at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one who you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed. Do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because I was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." And just think about that reunion with his brothers. He had seen his brothers come into Egypt hungry and inquired of his youngest brother Benjamin. Now he's inquiring of his father Jacob and just asking his brothers, how is our father? And they're probably thinking at this moment, is this guy who's second in command of Egypt going to throw us into prison? What's our fate going to be? But what they had intended for harm, God had intended for good. And I just love that. And members of our family are to be enjoyed and to be part of that bond of a family, that unit. One of the great things about a Christian faith is when a group of believers from all walks of life, denomination, sex, color, ethnicity can get together because we have one thing in common, and that's a Creator who loves us and sent His Son Jesus to die for us. And someday when we get called home, either in this life or after we've been buried and the trumpet sounds and we're called up, we're going to have a great reunion someday with our Savior and Creator. And I just hope that you will be part of that family, because if you guys aren't in heaven, there's going to be an empty spot. And I just want you guys to know that you are loved and you are appreciated. And just like Joseph, when he got together with his brothers, it was a great reunion. Just like when I see old friends or extras that we had on weekends, it's fun just to hear from them or catch up with them, or have them pull into the driveway with their red Mustang on their way from Denver to go to a Bills game here in Orchard Park. It's just really neat to catch up with people. And I hope you guys are getting the gist. It is so important where your heart is. God has a reunion plan for you, and I don't want you to miss it. So that's my challenge today. Get to know Jesus. Get to know the members of your family a little bit more. And if you've lost loved ones, take that loss and invest it into those that you still have with you here on this earth. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember, mirror your Maker and journey with Jesus today.